So somebody gives you a
Mm-hmm.
question, has a question. Can you do this? Can you do this, this, and this? Well, okay. Sometimes you don't know as an artist if you can.
Right,
So
right. Yes.
you wanna try to please. Okay, let me
Mm,
think about it. Let me see. Sure, but then you learn from that mistake, if that is a
yes.
mistake, or you realize that you can be more flexible with your work. Okay, oh look, I can do this, this, and this. I've got a whole different branch of whatever it might be that's going to suit
Mm-hmm.
a consumer that doesn't want to go all in.
Artists, creatives, and designers. I'm your host, Electra, and welcome to Dream Aloud Art, where we have educating, inspiring, and motivating conversations with creatives from around the world. Show some love and support by subscribing, liking this video, and uplift another creative by sharing this video. Let's tune in to another amazing conversation. Let's go. Artists, creatives, and designers, welcome to Dream Aloud Art, y'all, on YouTube. And who do we have here today? Oh my goodness. To a lot of y'all, she is a familiar face and she is back. So we have a friend. Actually, she's my friend, a very good friend. She's a mama, she's a wifey, and of course, she's an artist, and she's been creating ever since she was a child. And her most recent work is to bring beautiful and healing jewelry to allow others the power to thrive. Y'all, it is the one and only Bonnie O'Donnell. Clap it up. Clap it up. Can I get a standing ovation?
Hey, everybody. Thank
So
you
good.
for having me again. What an
Oh,
honor.
girl, it is my pleasure all day, every day. Listen, for those that have not seen the first interview from March of last year, because Bonnie and I were like, yo, when did we talk? Make sure that you watch that one. And if I can get it clipped to this or at the end of the video so you can actually watch it, yeah, then I'm gonna have that done. So yeah, it's fire. It's fire. And a lot of artists can relate, especially when we started talking about pricing and selling that work. Come on now. Listen, nothing but gems dropped. So, Bonnie, give a quick intro as far as your background. Of course, we're going to dive into the weeds of things. We're going to get into the details, but give an introduction yourself.
So my background, my artist background, I've been dabbling with art since a child. And in high school is really where I um,
Mm,
excelled and
mm,
went deep into my artistic abilities and had a wonderful support system at school with three different excellent teachers. They actually won
mm.
awards all of the years that I was at high school.
Oh,
And
watch
then I
out.
got to BCU and was accepted there. And then
Now,
since
VCU is where, for those that don't know all these
Pacific Commonwealth
abbreviations?
University in Richmond, Virginia, where I live.
You got, girl, as an artist in college. Oh yeah, you living on campus. Okay, period. Whether you reside off campus or not, you live there. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and it felt like home, and I'm still here. So yeah, it's awesome. And now, well, after I graduated, I started working for a jewelry company, and
Mm-hmm.
um, that was for a little while, and then now I'm just being an adult, living life,
Yeah.
raising kids, and a puppy, and chickens,
Oh,
and you
that's
know,
beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, I want to you opened up quite a bit. You and I usually really flow in these conversations. So I want to touch on school. Okay, school. And some of y'all may know that I'm still a certified instructor, but I really have a passion. I'm about to laugh, but I have a passion. I have a passion for working with kids. And so, yeah, Bonnie has been really supportive for me diving back into the school system while still running my business too, but I've seen school from a different angle. Okay. Grade school specifically. Now, you mentioned that you had was it three art teachers or three supportive teachers for your art? Can you revisit that one more time?
yeah, three art teachers. So there was a
That's
photography
awesome,
teacher, Mrs.
girl.
C. There's a crafts teacher, Mrs.
Mm.
Zizak, and then there was a 2D art teacher, Mrs. Coe, who I never actually took any of her courses, but she was around and involved. Yeah, they were award winning. Their program was, yeah, it was amazing when I when
Oh, I
I
love that. I love
was
that.
in school. Yeah, yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. And that's so huge because I recall when I was in high school and to have my art teacher, we only had one at my school, but to have my art teacher hold a vision for me, like it was huge, it's like I felt like I was up to win a Grammy or something just for her support. She's like, oh, I could see you doing this or that, and it was like, for real, like I could make this a thing. And so yeah, that is huge, and I'm so glad that you shared that. Going into college, what was your focus? Now I know artists out here, they either get their formal education or they don't, and it's all good either way. Like, I just want to give that plug because a ton of artists have asked me through consultations and everything, like, do I need to get you don't have to, but can you share a little bit about what your area of focus was? And yeah, just what that looked like overall before I continue.
Yeah, so I don't believe they do the same acceptance. I mentioned it in the last interview, but I did the portfolio acceptance, the 1 day
Oh,
portfolio, and that
oh,
and I got in. I was so honored. And then they have art foundations, which is super, 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 super crazy. Artist boot camp is what we
oh,
would like, and a very intense program. And yeah, so that they had all kinds of different classes that were core to art foundations for you to drill through,
oh,
like
girl.
boot camp.
Why do you
And
do that? Why
so
do you
you
do that to us, girl?
get a feel for what you like from those courses.
Oh, okay.
And then
Makes
you
sense.
can go from there. But I really have always loved crafts,
Mhm.
3D art, and but I tried it all. I love ceramics. I've tried that and moved away from that. I love textiles, tried that, and really just stuck with jewelry design was my
Yes. So that,
bitch. So
okay, great.
yeah.
Look, that's exactly what I wanted to get a better idea of, is how, because when you, and I'm, speaking from my own experience going through college, and you go through all these courses, some of them are intense, some of them are 2-3 hours, some of them end at 10 o'clock at night, some of them begin at 6:30 in the morning, and it's like, okay, with all of these things that I've dived into, how is this funneling down and narrowing down into something that is fitting for me? And of course, that could range, timeframes could range, right? Like, artists have tried different things over a matter of 20 years or 5 years or 1 year or whatever. But going back to Bonnie's journey, where are we as far as the formal training in college, and then jewelry? How did that narrow down? And even if you are experimenting and having fun with other forms of art, jewelry still seems to be the most, like, your primary, that's like your biggest passion. So what has that looked like to bring you to this point?
Yeah, jewelry. Yep. So, I had tried it in high school. I had dabbled it in high school, beading and things like that. And then when I got into college, it was probably, I'm trying to remember, it was either second or third year. It
Okay.
had to be the second year because the first year is art foundations, and you don't really get to venture
Okay. Right.
from
It's basic stuff.
courses, right? So it was second
Yeah.
year, started with jewelry classes, and then quickly just went headfirst in for third and fourth year. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Yeah. But I still dabbled with a lot of other things. Like I have a whole line of jewelry that I made with glass well, it was lamp working with glass. That's from the stationary lamp, not big blowing of glass in the big kilns. But
Okay.
so I did a whole series of necklaces and I think it was just necklaces.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
with
What?
that, which
Girl? Oh my goodness. I need to look, this needs to be added onto my reaction videos. Someone told me, another artist told me they need to have reaction videos for when I see people's work. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So I need to see that or pictures of that or something. That's awesome. Oh my
yes, I do need to get those out for you.
yes.
See
Girl.
some pictures. Yeah, those were intense. And I was in there,
Mm,
classes are 3, 4 hours long. And then I was in there like every single night
mm,
making these necklaces, and everybody was like, "What are you doing? You're here all the time. What are
mm.
you doing? What is happening?" Because I was literally making, I'm trying to explain this. They were spirals, but
Okay.
in form. So
Mm,
I
mm.
was making beads that make these big, huge collars. I wish they were a little bigger
Woo!
because I used to have a skinny neck and my neck is not as skinny, nor do I want a choker anymore, but they were all
Right.
choker collars.
Oh.
Pretty
Oh
cool.
my goodness, girl. Yes, yeah. We definitely would love to have some of those examples. But I will say now's a good time to go ahead and plug the jewelry that you have on right now, since we have a clear example of that power jewelry. So what do you have on?
These are my Serenity earrings and necklace matching pieces. So it's what is this? Rose quartz.
Oh, I love rose quartz. Y'all, I have some pieces. I have some. Ooh, I should have just whipped my pieces out. I just thought, but yes, y'all can catch me in some of those on interviews and on Instagram.
Yes, it's, oh gosh, what is ruby, aquamarine, and chrysocolla, and other one. I'm not.
Well, I love them. I especially love the dangling ones. You know, that's I'm about that life, and they look good on you, girl. You wearing those pieces? You wearing it?
Long dangly earrings with my yes, I think.
Well, you know what? Let's rewind a little bit back to the fact that jewelry actually became a lot clearer to you while you were in college. That's what you were saying.
Yeah.
And that's huge. That's really good. And did you actually see it as like what did you see jewelry as for you at that time? Were you necessarily thinking I could sell this, or were you looking at it more of like excuse me, a form of expression, and you love to do this, and so now you want to just put your energy toward it? Maybe your senior year is approaching, or it's right at the cusp of it, and you're like, okay, let me put a collection together. Like, what were your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, I love jewelry, and
Mm,
I always was hoping to make things that would sell, that I would want to wear, that other people would want to wear. College,
okay.
I was really into like statement pieces, that really wouldn't be like something like this, an everyday easy piece.
Mm,
But in college is also where I made my first power necklace.
mm, mm. Oh,
And
the power pieces, y'all.
yes, and did not realize that, who would have thought that, I would have taken a break from that power necklace and
Mm,
come back almost, well, probably at 20 years later, making them again with the
mm.
pandemic. A friend of mine was like, and I mentioned this in the last video, you need to make power jewelry. People need to heal through your jewelry. And so I just took off from there. 2020, I
Okay, wait,
made
hold on.
everybody, yeah,
I love it. No, no, this is good. This is good. No, it's something I'm getting amped right now. Okay, I'm getting amped because can we touch on the full circle situation? All right. So before y'all, a little behind the scenes before we started, before we started this interview, Bonnie and I were chatting, of course, warming up the conversation, right? And she had mentioned the breaks, right? Taking a break and what that looks like. So we're going to touch on, excuse me, the coming full circle, okay, how things come back around, and then we'll dive into what breaks are and what that means, or at least what it means to us. So let's talk about that full circle situation. Like, that is something that countless artists have expressed to me, that you've experienced, that I've experienced. What, in a nutshell, or you can dive deep, it's fine with me. Explain what that means to you. Like, what happened? What is the coming full circle situation like? Oh, I took it. Was it a break, or does it feel more like a coming full circle, like completion, because you stepped away and now you're coming back? What does that mean to you as an artist?
Yeah, for the power jewelry, I really feel like it was a completion. You know,
Completion.
it was something that was necessary when I was in college. I made that necklace because I, for myself, was the first piece. Always, always make the first piece for me. I want
Yeah.
this, you know?
Come on, girl. Yes.
And I needed to find all the powers that I felt I needed some support. And I made it, and I made a couple for friends, and that was it. It was just like, okay, we have our power, we're done. And then, like I said, 20 years later, we all needed the extra powers during the
Mm,
pandemic. And
mm.
boy, did we ever. I still have
Yeah.
my original necklace and I still wear it often, but I now have new power necklaces for what I need now as a parent and a wife.
Mm,
And,
mm.
you know, life, life is,
Yeah.
life can get really hard. And I try not to call them breaks. I try not to make myself feel bad for
Yeah.
the stages of my life. I
That's
like to call
important.
them seasons because Lord knows I'm in a season right now with my children that, it's hard to find time to have these teeny tiny beads out that your children
Mm.
want to touch and see and mess with. And I have
And I love her kids, y'all. Let me give a plug.
it is so hard, so hard. So yeah, I haven't had a lot of time, a lot
Yeah.
to do it. And I try not to beat myself up about it. But
Yeah. Absolutely not.
definitely been itching to get back into creating things. And right now
Mm.
I'm not creating jewelry, but I'm creating a fence in the backyard.
Yo, and listen, that takes a certain kind of skill and understanding that I currently do not possess. So I can't help but to respect the
I'm not
artists
sure
for
I
the
know
fence.
either, but I'm doing it. I'm
Well,
doing it.
wait. Well, I do have a question. What kind of advice would you give the artists? Because you're talking about, taking a break, feeling bad, like what the feeling bad and all this is. What kind of advice do you have for the artist that is taking a break, or they perceive this season of their life as a break? How can they still stay positive about taking this break? So what kind of advice do you have for them?
Well, think about, why are you getting upset? Think about,
Mm,
why are you not making the work? Are you not making the work because you don't have the time? Are you not making the work because you don't have the energy? Because you're just
mm,
so exhausted with all the things that have to get done,
yeah.
that there
Yeah.
isn't mental or physical space and time to do that. So, just realizing what you are creating in your life, realizing when you need to be creative again,
Mm,
because we as artists have to make something. We have to make something, whatever that might be, and
yeah.
realizing what you are making versus what you wish you could be making and why you aren't making those items. So, okay, so what can we change in our day to day, or what can we
Hmm.
change to find that time or force that time to do those things if that's what you have to be doing because it's time.
Yes. Come on now. What? Girl, that was nothing but a joke.
It's time
I
to
knew those
get
gems
back.
would come out. I knew it. I knew it. I love that. And I thank you on behalf of thousands of artists out here too. I thank you for that because I feel like it's such a strength to just realize where you're at and be honest with yourself. Like that, like in every aspect, especially when I'm teaching artists about selling their art or their business, like art and business, whatever that looks like for them. Being honest with yourself, especially if you're the one handling the majority of the movement with your business, with your craft, you have to be honest with yourself, say what can I handle right now? Be honest with yourself. And I promise you there's freedom in that. But you got to be real. You have to be real. And so good. So this journey, Bonnie's journey, right? Tell us about, because we talk about confidence, hands down, but we also discuss resilience and overcoming, being empowered. What are some examples of resilience that you've had to display? Like you had to be resilient through times as a creative, at certain points in your life. What have those challenges looked like and overcoming? What have you experienced there?
I mean, it's definitely just putting myself first and finding the time, I feel like, is my biggest challenge. I've been really lucky to not have a whole lot of ups and downs in life, but really finding the time to just focus on myself and making art. A lot of times is what we need.
Yeah.
We need to focus on. And that's, especially for me as a mom, it's hard to realize I've got to step away and I've got to set some time. Next time I need to make some art.
Because your piece is there.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And thank you for sharing that, because your piece is there. If you are, this is hitting me strong, Bonnie. I don't know what you saying over here, what kind of energy you sending. All right. Because if an artist is creating and there is no peace in that creation process, you need to fall back. Like if there's no peace, if it feels like a struggle in that creative process, you need to look at what you're doing.
Yep.
Because I strongly feel there should be peace in that process. Even if it looks like, excuse me, even if it looks labor intensive to other people, that doesn't matter. What does it feel like to you?
That's where I thrive. Labor intensive.
Yeah. And that's
all me. That's all me.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, so I love to use the physical body, and I love to compare it to like working out or going to the gym. Working out looks different to a lot of people, but I feel like what's important is what feels like it suits your body when you're doing it. Okay. It feels right to you when you do it. And if it feels right to push or go a little harder, then by all means push and go a bit harder. But you need to be at peace. You need to accept where you're at with what you're doing. And so, yeah, girl, what?
Yeah. I love clay.
Take a deep breath.
I love ceramics. I love working on the wheel. I wish I were better at it. And I realized,
girl, you and me both, because I just be playing games when I get on the wheel. I just be playing games. It's like she's just playing games. I am playing games.
Like that was stressful. Like trying to be good on the wheel was stressful, anxiety ridden. I love it, but you just can't do it. Got to step away.
I'm telling you, hands all the way down, because
right.
Y'all, we're giving a quick plug to all our ceramic pottery friends out there, because
especially that wheel.
Oh, girl, nothing but games. Back in my college days, I was just playing, and I think I got like a C or something in ceramics. That's probably because I probably got a C because I was really cool with the professor. Like otherwise, if he was grading me purely on what I learned, I can't promise I would have passed that class. I got a C for ceramics. That's
Yeah.
okay. All right, girl. So you touched a little bit on, excuse me, resiliency and a few challenges, but I also want to highlight when we were talking about challenges, and you had mentioned that, you know, you haven't had or you have yet to experience maybe something that has felt like an overwhelming amount of like challenge, right? But I also want to add, because this is what I experienced when I was working, excuse me, in my government job. And I had been working, for those that don't know, I'd been working for the government. I had an amazing career for almost 19 years. But when I was in, I think I was maybe in like my 17th, 16th year, something like that. I remember having a conversation with my dad about about the illusion of comfort, right? Where I was so comfortable, and people swear that they want to just get comfortable, and that's perfectly fine if you really honestly believe that. But comfort can be such an illusion where you don't feel like you need to do anything greater, anything more. That doesn't mean go rule the world. It just means it's an illusion of feeling like you don't need to grow. And the people who, um it's been said, but the people who understand that growth is always needed are the people who feel like they're at their rock bottom, because they know that they ain't got they don't have anywhere any other direction to go but up. That's like a quote or something. So they're like at their worst, they feel like they're totally at rock bottom. And the people who have continuously thrived, they have that understanding, they know it's necessary. And so can you give us a little bit of feedback as far as knowing when you're comfortable and then knowing when to get perhaps uncomfortable? I'll let you kind of marinate on that one a little bit. So that's kind of a deep question. But knowing when to get uncomfortable, and if you can't think of something where you're just like, well, boom, I already know the answer to that. Maybe that's something that you may need to marinate on. But can you share any examples of where you felt as an artist like, oh man, I'm going to do this? And this may have been when you dived back into your power jewelry, but like that, like, oh boy, I feel this coming on. I feel like, yeah, I am going to have to pivot. I'm going to have to do something different.
Yeah, yeah. I did feel well, I don't know. Let's see.
Well, as far as
I
getting back into
felt
the power jewelry.
uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like we needed comfort
Mm-hmm.
in making the power jewelry. There have been, I do, my power jewelry specifically is a custom piece
Okay.
in necklace, and you're going to tell me exactly what you need,
Yes.
or what your size is, the length, what your powers are that you need. You don't know, okay, well, what are your favorite colors? Tell me about yourself. What is going on with your life? And sometimes there have been a lot of control given to me. And then sometimes there's been very strict parameters that I have, and rigid parameters that I've had to
Mm.
work through. And those have been comfortable times for me. Like, okay, of um am I giving too much freedom to the person that's receiving this? Am I stepping away from what I want to make,
Mm. Okay.
and my thought process, my purpose in this story, and and have to really get uncomfortable in doing that, approaching it differently,
Yeah.
and learning different things about the jewelry. But in the long run, I just, you want to you I was able to make things that satisfied the consumer and made them very happy, and I was happy with it in the long run.
Mm.
But there have been struggles there, um, pleasing
Yeah.
everybody,
Yeah. I can
and
see. Yeah, I can
and
understand
you
that.
know it, and it's a process, but it worked out. Those are probably
Mm.
my favorite pieces, but
Yeah.
it just depends on how comfortable the consumer is and what their needs are. Um,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
so
No,
it was
that's
it was
good.
great.
That's no, that's really good. And I feel like that links in a lot of different ways.
It,
Uh-oh. Wait a second. We're catching up. We're catching up. I think we're okay. I think we're on here, but that links in a lot of different ways. Thank you for sharing that. Especially when it comes to say doing things out of your comfort zone. You did mention a little bit of the pleasing or the acceptance, and that's something that's a you know what, let's go ahead, let's do it, let's do, because we on it. So we touched on it, so it's all good. Let's just move right into that. So acceptance. So there are a lot of artists that are struggling with doing what it is that they desire. That's one option, and then doing what it is that people want them to do. And I have met and talked to plenty of artists who are doing customized work or commission work and all of this, right? But within that category, if you will, that you have two more types: the type of artist who truly wants to do that, and the type of artist who actually does not want to. This is where it feels like they're not at peace. Okay, they're not at peace.
Mhm.
And this is a prime opportunity. If you feel like that, one sign one sign of not really being at peace is the frustration of dealing with your customers.
Yeah.
If you are not the artist that's meant to do custom, like specific commission type of work for an individual, if you're not meant to do that, you will always see the communication part as an issue. Like that's like you want to stay away from it. Oh, I can't stand it. But to the artist who loves to do custom work, that they enjoy it. They enjoy that part of the process. But can you touch a little bit on the acceptance and creating work, or at least what your thoughts were to determine, am I doing this to try to please or to try to sell, or like, am I going against my own belief system and the value of my work and time? Tell us a little about that.
Exactly. Because, you allow somebody to give you their ideas. And
Mm-hmm.
normally I have almost an instantaneous, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I start to do it. And then I'm like, but wait, is this
Right.
really what they meant? Are they going to like this? And you're second guessing and
Mm,
second guessing, second guessing. You know,
yeah.
I am always active as an artist during the holiday season because we as artists have that ability to make beautiful things for people. And who doesn't want a custom
Right.
handmade gift? So for at Christmas time, I was making a piece for my new supervisor and Secret Santa. Now, a lot of times you don't know a whole lot about this person that is your
Oh,
and you're like, oh gosh, are they gonna like this? Do they really want this? I haven't ever seen them wear earrings, but I really want to make a pair of earrings. Work
right.
is what do they think? And luckily it was one of my friends at work, but I was still second guessing it so
Mm,
much to the
mm-hmm.
point where it was like, making myself feel really upset about it. And I went ahead and
Yeah.
was like, go with your initial gut. You knew what you wanted to do. If you had this person, you actually got this person, just go with your gut. And she loved it. And my boss, it was
Oh,
amazing because
good.
it was like I had a vision of what I wanted to make. And I was like, do I still have those beads? Is this going to work out?
Mm, mm,
And it was perfect. So a lot of times you go with your gut, you go with that direction, and then you start thinking too much,
mm.
thinking too much about your piece. second guessing yourself. And then that is the problem.
Oh,
Not
girl.
necessarily
Say
the
it.
consumer that is stressing you out. It's
Mhm.
the fact that you're thinking, you're second guessing your things that you want to make, the way that
That's
you're
right.
approaching this. Is this
Mhm.
what they wanted? And yeah, they picked you for a reason to make this
Mhm.
custom commissioned piece. They like what you make. So they're giving you some ideas.
Oh,
And half the time, they probably don't even know what they're talking about. They're like,
because they came to you.
I don't
Like
know. Right.
they,
So,
they came to you, girl.
so,
That'd be hard.
you can, yeah. I mean, they can't make the piece. They asked you to make the piece. So you make the piece. They're giving
Come
you
on.
and you go for it.
Say that, girl. All facts. They came to you. Oh, don't get me worked up because, whew, well, oh, too late. You already got me worked up. Too late. I'm just saying because they came to you. That is a conversation ongoing. They came to you as a well, and okay, yes, it is what it is. As an artist, as a business, if an artist is looking at what they do as a business, and I want to add this too, there are different phases to business, right? And so it doesn't necessarily mean that you're trying to you're only focused on the sales, right? So a lot of artists are like, well, I don't see what I do as a business. I kind of periodically want to sell, and that's fine. That just means that's how you're handling your business. That's all. Like, you don't even have to have an LLC business license. But if you're looking at it as, we'll say, as the way you've established what you do, okay, let's just say that we'll use that definition for business. You're establishing what you do. So having a standard, like, this is a quick consultation to the artists out here who need to hear that, but having a standard, having a system of some sort. How do you handle when someone approaches you and says, hey, I really love your work. I have this and this budget to spend. Or, hey, I really love your work. I don't know anything about asking for work, but what can you help me out with? You have to have some for your own peace of mind. Let me say that too. Okay. Not about the dollar, right? Let me just focus on, again, how you're establishing yourself. Have some kind of idea of how to respond, when people are inquiring, but rewinding, going all the way back to what Bonnie was saying, they came to you. And when someone approaches you, yeah, it'd be a good idea for you to have some kind of idea of how to respond when people have a request or they want a commission. That is so key. And I'm sure a lot of y'all felt that in this passionate moment. Yes, it just makes your life easier. Like, you have your own routine. Y'all know how you brush your teeth in the morning. Y'all know when you drop your kids off. Y'all know when to cook breakfast for your boo. Like, y'all have all of these routines, but then when it comes to your craft and your passion, and I will say, especially if you want to sell your work, you ain't got nothing. It's just kind of like, I'm flying at the seat of my pants, and I'm okay with that. And then 2 days later, you're crying. Like, no, artists, I'm tired. Like, I say that because I'm tired of seeing artists experience that. And so, yeah,
So
yeah.
you get you don't have the answer.
Hey, boo, see my boo in the back.
Oh, honey. Love you.
Hey,
Love
Betsy, love you too, girl.
you, Daddy. So
Go
so
ahead, so cute.
so somebody woke up early.
I know you gotta gather yourself mentally. Go ahead.
Okay, so yes, back to it. Yes. So somebody gives you a
Mm-hmm.
question, has a question. Can you do this? Can you do this, this, and this? Well, okay. Sometimes you don't know as an artist if you can. So
Right, right, yes.
you wanna try to please. Okay, let me
Mm-hmm.
think about it. Let me see. Sure. But then you learn from that mistake, if that is a
Yes.
mistake, or you realize that you can be more flexible with your work. Okay, oh, look, I can do this, this, and this. I've got a whole different branch of, whatever it might be that's going to suit
Mm-hmm.
a consumer that doesn't want to go all in on my,
Right.
custom piece that takes me forever to make. So
Yeah.
and this jewelry specifically, it's a few beads, so it's a lot less than my big, huge power necklace that takes 5 hours to make. So, you know,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
there are other options that you can do, or you can be true with yourself, like, nope, I'm not going to do that. This is what I want to do. So yeah,
Yes.
just
Yes.
be honest with yourself and be honest with the consumers, and then learn from your mistakes so that you don't have to be put in that situation again.
That's wonderful. That's a standard. That's the standard. See, like that's
Right.
it's you're creating a standard and a system. And sometimes those words, artists tend to deflect from like that talk, right? Because a little sliver of thought is involved, right? But not an overthink, but thought. There is a thought process that's needed. But I will say, let me, and this is a plug for Bonnie. And y'all, let me just go ahead and say this right now. Y'all need to click the links in the descriptions, or the description below, and learn more about Bonnie, support her in her ventures, follow her on Instagram, and do all the things, and click all the links, and have a link party. That's what I'm going to call it. Okay. Y'all make sure you do that. And you'll be glad that you did. Let me say that too. But because y'all know, I'm not only a fan, I have purchased some jewelry from Bonnie. And let me tell you, this is why it's so important. Like, oh my gosh, it's okay. Wait a minute. I'm about to sidetrack myself here. Okay. I'm going left field. But when I request for some jewelry, and when I asked Bonnie if she could make me some jewelry, I always talk about how she has her kit and everything. She's like a doctor. Like it's like a get well kit or something to me. Like it's like the whole and I say that respectfully because she is the master of her craft. And getting to that place where you're not worried about what everybody else is doing and how they do it. It's like you're mastering what you do. So not only mastering your artistic and creative craft, not just that part, you master your presentation, you master how to communicate about it, because this is all you, boo. Like that's all there is to it. And so like, as much as I know or I've experienced as an instructor, as an artist, as a speaker, as an author, that has nothing to do with my request from Bonnie. My request is in her hands. Like that's what I want to help put into perspective for some of y'all, because I request jewelry from Bonnie because I respect what she does. So when she whips out her kit and she's got her, she's gonna write out a diagnostic for me. Like
Yeah,
when
my
she do like,
prescription of what's in the jewelry. Yep.
yeah, let Bonnie be great. And I want to add, y'all, you're a customer, or a client, or whomever is approaching you, if they respect your work, they will let you do it. They will let you lead. They actually expect for you to guide them here, and I say that respectfully. They just like, okay, cool, I love your work, I've seen what you do, what can you do for me? To the customer, that for you artists, if you feel like they're doing the most or they're disrespectful, then you need to leave them where they stand. This isn't a time to try to please, like Bonnie and I were just talking about, pleasing and bending, and you know what that feels like. Like, I don't know what that may look like for you, but I know a lot of artists experience that. But yeah, Bonnie's a whole Dr. O'Donnell.
Yeah,
That's all there is to. I'm telling you,
that is like,
all the doctors.
in the past, I've just made jewelry just to make jewelry, but I'm going back to the power jewelry, going back to that power necklace, going back to and having something more, have it mean more. That's become really important to me. So I'm excited, and
Yeah.
I am in the right place right now with what I'm doing, because not only am I providing something that is, lovely, and I hope everybody wears it every day, but I hope that they do realize the thought and the love and the concern for the individual that goes into it, and try to make it a whole experience so that you can go back
Yes.
and look at your card, which is your prescription, which shares
Mm-hmm.
all of the stones and what those powers have and how they heal. And
That's right.
then, if you're drawn to something, then you can go back and get it for yourself. Everything okay?
No,
Oh,
go ahead, girl. No, go ahead. No, because
she had a moment. Some light
I
bulb.
got mine. I was trying to see if it was within reach. I got mine, y'all. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yes, absolutely. And it's so, y'all, this is so good. Like, I am giving like Bonnie the hardest plug right now because it is so good. Like, I was listen, look, this alone, y'all should be paying for. I'm gonna keep it real. I love y'all, but
That's the
the
bracelet.
what prescription,
Yeah.
the
Was that the
diagnostic
bracelet?
itself, well, yes, it sure was. This is worth the payment itself. Okay, minus the jewelry, but you get that and the jewelry. And I can't speak on how what Bonnie is currently doing or her availability because she is very exclusive. Just so y'all know, y'all already heard she a mama and a wife. That's
Building fences, raising dogs and chickens and kids. Yeah. Oh, busy. But yes, I have all the time for anybody else that needs some healing. Yes, let me know.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
know because it's so important.
Mm,
It's so
mm,
important, for us to take care of ourselves. And I feel like this is a really nice for women.
yeah,
You always feel, well, sometimes I'm not doing so good in the day and I
right.
put on something a little bit fancier, put on some makeup that I don't normally put on, just to try to change the tone, set
Yep.
the tone. Okay, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
feeling great
It
today.
helps.
I'm going to have a good day, so I'm going to put on a little bit of makeup. I'm going to put on some pretty jewelry. I'm going to take care of myself. You always feel better when you do that. If you rolling
Absolutely.
around in sweatpants over and over and over again, you're going to feel kind of
Girl.
comfortable and tired. But yeah,
Slouchy. Okay, slouchy. I'm gonna keep it real because sweatpants has an
feeling
expiration date.
oh, yeah. So
The sweatpant vibe has an expiration date. I experienced that during COVID times. No, I was like, okay, I feel like a whole rag right now. So,
you always look
oh,
good.
it's true. Oh my gosh. All right, girl. Well, let's do this because we're gonna round out our conversation. So, do you have any shout outs that you want to give? Any artists, a family, friends, anybody you want to give a holler to?
Oh my goodness, so many people.
So many, so
But
many. I know, right?
yeah, but there is one person on my mind right now, and I don't know if you um are going to be able to interview her or not. But a friend of mine is on a an adventure of herself. She is creating a mobile art studio and has been making it
Yes.
from scratch for, I believe, now a year and is doing
Minute.
big things. So shout out to Miranda Cecilia um, and all the things that she is doing with her art cocoon.
That's right.
Can't wait to see that. That is opening its doors, I believe, in a couple months.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
That's incredible. Shout out to Murdy.
impressive. Really impressive. She has I went through art foundations with Miranda. That's how we met. And so we have known each other
And
for,
this was college, right?
yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Since it was
absolutely.
AFO. That was her and I. And she is an art teacher and an artist, ceramics artist, and
Mhm.
making the mobile art cocoon. So shout out to her.
Yeah, imagine that, y'all. Shout out to yes, big shout out to Miranda. Absolutely. And I know Miranda for those that haven't caught on. So I know Miranda, but Bonnie has so much history with her. So yeah, big shout out to her for sure.
Doing things, and that's so
A
awesome.
mobile gallery, y'all. Like really wrap your head around the process of doing that. And then from scratch, like
Yes,
for
it's amazing. It's amazing. Her children are older than mine. I will get there and have more time to make my art. I keep
yeah,
telling
okay.
myself that. I keep telling myself that I will have more time. I will
I
My
love it.
children will respect my boundaries and leave me alone, even though
Yes.
one little one did not respect the fact that
I'm,
mommy
I'm gonna calm down because we'll holler more about that after the interview. But we because that was so funny. It was so cute.
my
But
children love Electra, so they hear her voice and they're like, that. I don't know if you can see her very confused face, like, what's happening? Electra's normally here, and you're talking to her.
you're talking.
Happening. So, yes, my
I
children.
love that.
Well, we all love Electra. We all
I
love.
appreciate you. I appreciate you, Bonnie. So
Yes.
we're gonna have a little fun as we close your interview out. We are going to play the infamous word game. And so for those that do not know, the word game is very simple, where I say a word and then Bonnie will say the very first word that comes to mind. And then I will return with the very first word that comes to my mind, and we'll go back and forth until one of us can't think of something to say. Okay. All right, let's do it. I will start with lemon.
Tree.
House.
Love.
Hearts.
Electra. you make hearts.
Well, I'm out. I don't know what to say. I guess I'm out the game. I was gonna say me, but so y'all, the purpose or the initial purpose of the game is to say what naturally comes to your mind. When you stop and you're pausing, that means you're overthinking. And so that game just really encourages you to just say this, just release the thoughts without overthinking. So yeah, we're gonna do it one more time. We gotta, because it ended too fast. That was me. That's on me. All right, you start with a word.
Bamboo.
Tree. Tree.
Life.
Oh, plant.
Growth.
Needed.
Fun.
Dance.
I was gonna say love. I've already said love. Didn't I say love?
You could say love again.
Love.
Okay. Art.
Joy.
Name.
Friend.
Oh gosh. Bonnie. Girl. And now we're just laughing. Now we're just laughing at this point. Bonnie, it has been a pure pleasure. Yes, yeah, we always end up laughing hard and going into tears. Yes.
Well,
so once
out of the screen though,
I didn't. It's not. I held my composure enough to stay in the screen instead of falling out of the screen. Bonnie, it has been a pure pleasure having you on the Dream Aloud Art YouTube channel and of course the podcast. So y'all stay tuned to hear Bonnie on the podcast. And be sure to click all those links. I told you I'll have a click party. Click those links below and learn more about Bonnie, support her in her ventures, give her a follow on Instagram, and just keep the support going, y'all. We appreciate you. Any last words for our viewers, Bonnie?
No, thank you guys so much for listening and tuning in. Go have a great day.
Yes. Bye, y'all. Bonnie and I are going to stick around and we're just going to wave bye to you. Peace, peace. Bye, y'all. Creatives, it has been both a pleasure and an honor to have you sit in on our conversation today. So, will you be the next artist interviewed? Visit respecttheartist.com/artist-interviews to learn more. And hopefully, I'll see you soon. RTA stands for Respect the Artist. Love y'all.